Hey, hi, hello, and good afternoon. My name is Amanda, and welcome to Harmony Portal Tarot Live. How is everyone this fine Woo Wednesday? It is Wednesday, y'all. At least I think it is. I hope it is. It is. Okay. I was like, I'm pretty sure it's Wednesday. And then for a second there, I'm like, maybe it's only Tuesday. How is everybody? Hope everyone is doing well. Me and Kay have been experiencing some digestive issues, probably due to the solar storms. These solar storms are crazy. Yeah, someone or something did not want me to go live today. Apparently, as I was picking up the I thought it was 5. It's actually 6 decks of cards that I dropped. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm like, come on now, really? The funny thing was I was taking off my sweatshirt and my hand knocked into a stack, but not only did that stack and all the cards that were under it fall down, but the one beside it that I didn't even touch just decided, I mean, somehow, some way it must have, however it works. But the funny thing is, I'm picking all the cards up and I get this, the answer simple deck I'll put back together, and it just says drop it. As I drop all the decks, I'm like, oh, okay. I see. Sailor Moon rocks. I think that's Kirsten, right? Is that who you are? Welcome. It's been a while. I hope you're doing well. Canary, hello. Welcome. Versha's here. Linda's here. Who else is here? I know Jessa maybe will be checking in later. She did donate. She's the first donation today that I've seen. So anyone else looking to donate can obviously go ahead and do that whenever, and we will get into those donations. Let's see. Is this not updating? My last email, because my laptop has been in my bag pretty much since Sunday because I went and took it to the library for my writing group, and I don't have any new emails in here. It's not syncing for some reason. I don't know. I'm hesitant to stack even more than I have been for fear of it all coming down again. And you think, oh, it's not too bad. Just pick them all up off the floor. Well, this is what I had to move out of my way just so I could get to the desk. Wrigley's treating the floor as his personal bookshelf. I mean, he has a new bookshelf. Look at that. He's got a bookshelf, but this is where he chooses to put his books. And then we have the tote of all the stuff and then my stacks. Like, no, this is not it anymore. So no more Stranger Things episodes for him until he gets in here and deals with some of this mess. And I don't know what it is. Like, my hair, I got it cut on Monday. I swear it's not uneven. It's even. It just looks really uneven in this lighting. And I did not, I have not done anything to it. She put the product in on Monday, and my hair hates this product. It's Diva Curl, which I used to love and use back before 2019. And then my hair just started saying, oh, this is not for us anymore. So I stopped using it around 2019, but she still uses it. I think they changed their formula around 2019 because I remember I used to get the Archangel gel. It was a real thick gelatinous gel, and my hair really loved that. It really utilized it well, but then they really watered it down. My hair started falling out, which may or may not have been, related to that. So I stopped using those products, and my hair was doing great. And then she used them on Monday when she cut my hair. And because I had washed my hair, was it Friday? And then I washed my hair again Sunday to prepare for my haircut on Monday. And then she did my hair on Monday. So 3 hair washes in a week when my hair is used to getting one every 7 to 9 days. So I'm like, well, I'll just leave it, even though it's a frizzed out, like undefined curl, the not very defined curled mess. And it just feels so gritty. I don't know. It just looks disgusting. It feels disgusting. I swear I'm happy with the haircut. The style before it was all dry and like gritty feeling. I loved it, and I do. I probably could have and should have gone shorter. I like it. But yeah, is this not coming across as maybe I'm just holding my head to one side. I don't know. But I swear in person and realistically, it's very even. It's not uneven. Maybe I'm just tilting my head too much to the right. I don't know what I'm doing. No one else cares so much except me, I guess. But I don't know. It's been my first haircut in like almost a year. So I'm like, "Ooh, let's do it." And me touching it does not help the frizz factor. I get that. I probably should have braided it and just called it a day, but I was too lazy for that even. So here we are. But I hope you're all doing well. Today, oh, she doesn't go to this school. Look at this. I didn't put it away correctly when I picked it up off the floor. Um, Today we're going to be doing a pick a card reading on what changes are coming your way. I just feel with all these solar storms and just overall craziness of just this shift that we can all feel. We've been feeling it for a while, many of us, still feeling it. Yes, did get my hair cut. Sorry, I'm just catching up on comments. Yeah. Oh, you got it done too, but you don't like yours. I realized when she did cut mine that I went a little scissor happy on the left side. So she kind of didn't even cut some of these layers because it was like down, shelf, and we want it to cascade. Layers, cascading layers. That's how I prefer anyway. But I do have bang. Oh God, do I do this? Okay, yeah, here we go. Oh my God. Uh, I kind of have bangs again a little bit. I don't know. I would have maybe even preferred them a little bit shorter, but it is what it is. It looks really bad right now, but I swear Friday I'll hopefully put a little more effort in. It is what it is today. It's fine. It doesn't matter. You guys love me anyway, I hope. So, yes, sidetracked. We are doing a pick a card reading. What changes are coming? The energies are energizing. I don't know the words, all that fun stuff. So I figured, why not? Many of us are kind of feeling the stirrings. Like that's probably the best way I can put it is there's just this like stirring. After a hibernation, you start to stir a little bit. And some of us even are going a bit stir crazy, I don't know, maybe just me. But yeah, I'm really feeling this. The motivation hasn't hit yet, and a lot of times it doesn't until I just jump in and start something, and then I find the motivation along the way, which is kind of going with that. And body in motion stays in motion, a body at rest stays at rest. Even if you're not feeling like doing something, you set a timer for 10 minutes and just dive into that task or that project or that difficult conversation or whatever it is for 10 minutes. And then at the end of maybe if it's a difficult conversation, you can't like just, well, peace out. I've had enough. Bye. But if it's, a task that you've been putting off and you just, a lot of times I trick myself. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to set a timer for 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Usually I have to do this with my laundry because, oh my gosh, does it accumulate? It all gets washed on the same day, it feels like, and then it just piles up if I can't keep up with it, if I have other things going on. And then you know how that is as moms, and everybody needs to start doing their own laundry vibes. Boston's been sporadically doing a load here, a load there of his own laundry, but it's almost always at my prompting. But we're getting there. We're getting there. That was kind of just my job growing up, was washing the clothes for everybody from probably age 9. I want to say 9 or 10. It was well before our house burned down, but we had this really big, like 40-gallon garbage can that everyone had just walk out of the bathroom, because there was like, our laundry room was kind of in the hallway. So you kind of had to pass through the laundry room to get to the bathroom or to get to the back porch or the back door or the back bedrooms. And we'd all just throw our laundry in there. But then the problem was, it'd pile up, and we couldn't find anything. And, I'd kind of have these like, I call them binge and purge because I don't know a better way to put it, but I think it's very much tied to the ADHD that I have going on, that I'll just have this like, okay, let me just get it done, and I'll just work for hours and hours and hours getting something going. But then that'll be days to weeks before I even think about it again. Anyone else? Just me? But yeah, it was a problem. It wasn't fun. And I still kind of do that as an adult in a lot of ways. So I'm trying for myself and others in the house to instill like little routines and schedules to at least check in. Like if the thing doesn't need done every week, every week you're at least thinking about it. Like, do I need to do this? Maybe could I spend a little bit of time on this? And a lot of times just setting a 10-minute timer just to get started is helpful for me and for other people that I know of. Because you just kind of like, well, I'm this far in, I might as well keep going. And actually it's not as bad as anyone else, like you think of doing the laundry or think of cleaning out your car or think of something that's the refrigerator. That's the big one for me. I build it up to this like monumental Mount Everest to climb, that once I actually just say, screw this, I'm just going to work on it for a little bit, I get the momentum and I just get it done, like I build it up like this big monster in my mind, like it's gonna take 50 hours and I'm gonna hate every second of it. And I mean, yeah, it's not pleasant cleaning out a disgusting fridge or whatever, but like we do it, you know? Yeah. Oh, your body just wants to go slow and love the slow pace right now. I'm the same way. It's more my mind that's like, wait a second, I want to do this. I want to try that. Ooh, we should dive back into this. One thing for me specifically is human design. I've been kind of going back and forth, dipping my toe back here, back there. And part of the reason I was a little bit delayed and then got really delayed because of the card drop, I was doing some of my gene key research for my gene keys, which is a part of or a facet of human design. So you can always go in. I think it's just if you just type like free gene key chart or something, it's just genekeys.com/free dash profile slash. That's where I went. I could probably go like this and copy it for those who want to check this out later. You can check the chat for the link. But it's just nice to know. And it breaks it down like this is your core wound that you incarnated in your ancestry to address. And funny enough, mine is Gene Key 57, which is all about I'll just read it. Let's see, real quick, just tangent, you know me. Let's close out of that one. Yeah, so the sphere of your core represents the ancestral sacred wound that you came to this world to transform into the virtue of your true vocation. So when you're not in your, your essence of your core, for me specifically with gate 57 as my gene key 57 here, I would be in the energy or the shadow of unease. But when I'm using it properly, I have the gift of intuition, which of course, so many in my family line were very intuitive, but just the, fight or flight, survival mode of life, they weren't really a lot of times able to tap into that intuition unless, it was very whatever circumstances. But and then it's the city of clarity, city, not like city that you dwell in, but SIDDHI, which is basically like a spiritual breakthrough. Yeah, very fun. Yeah, so you can look up your gene keys and kind of see like what wound you came here to overcome, what your life's work is. And it's not going to say you need to be a garbage man or like specific like that, but like the elements of like mine is 24. So the shadow of it would be addiction. Addicted for me specifically in what I know for my life's work. I can be addicted to research or just keep like I need to know a little bit more. I need to know a little bit more. Before I write my book, I need to make sure I have the 6th book completely planned out before I even publish book 1. That is a form of addiction. It really is. But the gift of that is invention. And then the city or spiritual gift of all of this would be silence. And for someone with a brain like mine, that sounds like heaven. Silence. And then of course my line 1 is the creator archetype. I'm here to boldly be myself. Whatever I do in life, it has to be infused with creativity and originality, or else I'm not here for it. And I have to be creative and curious. If I'm not curious about what I'm doing, I am bored as hell. So, just a little side tangent, you guys, you can look at it. Oh, your life's work is enthusiasm. But it's interesting because when you understand you're not like, if I'm a creator, I'm here to create things. And I feel like I haven't been doing that. I feel like I'm dying. Like that's how, I guess, extreme that feels to me. But to someone else who creates for fun, but it's not their quote unquote life's work, if they're not creating, it's not a big deal. It's not the end of the world. They'll get back to it later. No worries. But for me, it literally feels like I'm dying, like energetically speaking. So yeah, it's so much better for me when I'm very much involved in like creating something. My book series is kind of, of course, children. We can create children. We can create legacies. We can create a house. We can turn a house into a home through our creativity. There's a lot of ways a person can use creativity, not just creative projects, so to speak. But when I got a good creative project that I'm just so juicy and just sinking my teeth into, like life is never better. Oh, I love that. Yeah, it's in the mind for sure that just wants to run with everything. And It's like I have to the way that I reel myself or rein myself back in with having to know everything about everything out there is to remember we can like watch the whole internet or experience the whole of the internet has to offer, every video that's ever been published, everything ever been written, but that doesn't mean that it's true knowledge or true gnosis. It really doesn't, because that true knowledge and that true wisdom and there's knowledge, which is knowing things, but then there's wisdom, which is knowing things, right? So it's about maybe as a human finding a balance with that, or instead of relying so much on all that external knowledge and intellect, going within and trusting my own inner spirit's knowledge, intellect, wisdom, emotional intelligence, all those things, which I love doing. But, a lot of times when life gets busy or we're kind of in survival or fight or flight mode, we just forget to tap into the really rich juiciness that our lives have to offer. Because, it's very much like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, if you want to look at it that way. If you're sorry, my husband's asking what for dinner tonight. Always dinner. Like, this is my life's work, trying to figure out what we're doing for dinner every night for the rest of our lives. China buffet it is. We're going to China buffet. This is quite interesting. Shadow of Doubt, Gift of Inquiry, and the City of Truth. I love that. I mean, I have chills just reading that because that is so rich just in what you posted there. And then you can dive into that for you and get so much knowledge and wisdom that, I mean, you just diving into your own gene keys is better than like having the world's best mentor, because this is like mentor designed exactly to your DNA, to your blueprint, to who you are. And yeah, fixing dinner. Yeah, figuring out, and yeah, lunch and dinner. Yeah, I'm usually in charge of lunch and, well, breakfast and lunch. And I'd say 9 times out of 10, my husband does the dinner thing. He's just, I don't know, he's just more, I don't know. To me, it's like it's a chore, and to him, it's like, oh no, like I like this. To me, unless it's something I'm really excited to make, it feels more like a chore than something I'm excited to do, if that makes sense. So he's like our dinner chef 90% of the time, and I'll deal with breakfast and lunch. And it's usually just me and the kids. My husband is usually at work or on his own. He does a lot of like OMAD, one meal a day. So he's a lot of time not doing the breakfast and lunch anyway. So I figured I'd take the reins on that since I'm home. Especially when getting the kids off to school every morning. He's already at work. He leaves here by like 5 something. Yeah, he's a very early bird, but that way he can get off earlier and actually get to spend time with family, in the evenings. Like a lot of people I know, if you don't get off till 5:30, you're not home till 6:30. And like, if you have sports, I mean, there goes your evening, there goes your family time. So he's kind of adjusted to where he's going to work super early so he can get off early and be home to hang out, and we can all coordinate sports and get where we need to be. Yeah. Oh, truth has been a big deal for me, no matter, even if it proves that someone who has always been a defaulter didn't do something wrong this time. It is what it is. Looking back, I have been like that. Yeah. And you can even look at your gene keys or your human design or your birth chart and just be like, oh my gosh, like I could see that, I know that about myself, but like consciously I didn't know that about myself. Or yep, I clocked that one years ago. I've known that forever about myself. And then other things, especially the shadowy parts of us, we like uncomfortable, we don't want to admit it, but like deep down we know, yeah, I do that. Especially with the addiction, especially where knowledge is concerned with me, like I understand. But even the just knowing how much knowledge I can figure out on this phone. It's not me just like playing games or mindlessly scrolling. That's not what my screen time is incorporated of. It's me, ooh, let me look this up. Let me look this up. And then I'm in like 2 hours later, a rabbit hole of that one thing I looked up 4 hours ago, but 2 hours into like an extended rabbit hole. And then I'm like, where did the day go? Why is my screen time say 9 hours yesterday? Because I'm just like needlessly, but not mindlessly, but needlessly trying to search out knowledge about what it is I want to know. And I don't think that's all. I mean, sometimes that's very needed and necessary and healthy, like doing book research. There's a lot of things I'm diving into, like CIA documents and stuff for my book research. So like, but the problem that I do this with is I'll, again, kind of like the laundry thing, like I'll go hard for 9 hours straight one day. I mean, that's a bit of an exaggeration. I'm never like on my phone 9 hours straight. That never happens. But just say for the sake of example, 9 hours straight researching MK Ultra mind control, and then I'll go 4 months without even thinking about it again. Or maybe I'll think about it, but like not completely go back to it. But all that research I did, I forgot a lot of it because, you can only cram so much research in a quote, quote, 9 hour research session to remember it fully, like numbers and dates and people's names and, what kind of experiments they were running. You kind of have to go back, 4 months later if you haven't been consistently researching and reacquaint or refresh yourself about it. So that's my problem is I have to keep returning to things like just human design as an example, return to things, return. But again, Purnavasu moon here. And I have I think it's gate 61 that connects to the 24 in the throat, 61 in the head, 24 in the throat. I think it's the gate 61 where we can almost become obsessive returning to that argument we had in 6th grade with our friend or, a problem or a scene in my book, for example, and I'll just keep replaying it over and over and over. And sometimes I'll have new insight or nuance to it, and other times I will regress about it. But that's like one of the problems with that gate. Or more the shadow side of the gate. It can be used for good, or you can mind spiral. I'm just here spilling all the secrets of my psyche to you guys today, apparently. A lot of it is very much trying to be in my mind rather than in my heart, in my womb, in my body, But anyhow, let's get to the topic at hand. Take a quick drink of water. We do have one donation from Jessa so far today. It did look like my email updated. So, yes, so far we have the one full read for Jessa, aka Solar Siren 209. And we're going to timestamp our card selection. I'm trying to think. Ooh, I want to do the Animal Apothecary, I think. We'll do this for our card selection. I think these cards are really fun. Weirdly, they have kind of a 70s or 80s vibe, early 80s vibe to them. In my opinion. I don't know. Maybe not. Okay, so let's shuffle. And we're going to do 2 piles because I think that's enough of a choice with the limited amount of people that probably will see this or do see this. Okay, so let's see. What changes are coming your way for pile 1? Let's get a card for pile 1, please, in alignment with True Spirit. I love it. So pile 1, we'll show you the cards here in a second, and then changes coming your way for pile 2. Ooh, you guys get 2. I couldn't decide, and I heard take them both. Okay, so pile 1 is keep trying with the number 4. We've got starfish. We've almost got the starfishes representing like chakras, almost, kind of, not quite, but kind of. And there's only 4 of them, but that's pile 1. What changes are coming your way? Keep trying. Pile 2. Wow, there's a lot of color going on here for you, pile 2. We have immense growth, especially with the self. These are just kind of themes. So if any of these themes so far stand out to you, we have the number 15 and 11 on these cards. Hopefully we can see. And then, of course, the number 4. So pile 1, pile 2. And if all of it calls to you, whatever floats your boat. Whatever you feel called to. If none of them call to you, that's fine too. But we're going to go ahead and start with pile. Oh, I was going to timestamp. Look at me. So 23. I'll timestamp the pile selection after the live is over. So 2346 for pile 1. And then we'll do pile 2's timestamp after a bit. Okay. What changes are coming your way, pile 1? The way that you are going about something. We've been talking kind of lately about this square peg, round hole mentality or phenomenon that a lot of us are or have been, purposely shoveled or shuffled into. I'm seeing like the cattle chute, like whether we want to or not, we're kind of guided or directed a certain way just by culture and society and civilization and, the systems that are in place. We're kind of, whether we want to or not, if our parents haven't opted us out, we're kind of just in it to win it, so to speak. But the way that you have been going about things is changing. Maybe your routines, your habits, your internal programs, potentially group 1, are changing. So what changes are coming group one's way, specifically with the way they show up just as a daily participant in your own life, right? All right. Group one. Ooh, okay. So something that may have been feeling really stuck, or again, square peg round hole, no matter how much you've been hammering trying to make something fit, you're realizing this isn't a fit. So some of you are actually walking away. I'm seeing like 8 of Cups in my mind's eye. I heard run, don't walk. So some of you are literally running away. We have a rocket taking off in the background there. Some of you are literally running away. I thought I saw like an orb or something up in this window corner with the card a moment ago. I could be wrong though. Maybe it was just trick of my eye. I don't know. But it kind of took me out of the reading for a second there because I was like, what is that? This Knight of Swords, though, this really is about rapid change, rapid shift, news coming in potentially. News is more of a page of Swords energy, but this is more in response to news that has come in, that you're ready to kind of hit the ground running. Run, don't walk. There's a new way of operating in a relationship, in a job, in a personal hobby, or personal changes that you want to make in your life, potentially. But let's see. Look at the tea leaves. These are always fun for pick a card. So what changes are coming for group one? Changes coming your way for group one in alignment with their true spirit. All of this wants to come out. So we'll probably take out about 4 for pile 2 as well. Okay, so we have Forest. Muddled, unclear thinking. But again, something that was very unclear to you before with that Page of Swords that precedes the Knight of Swords, you're getting that clarity, that Sword of Truth, that Ace of Swords almost, to clear. It's almost like when a forest is completely just like, pine beetle infestations, there's a bunch of dead trees falling all over the ground. It's just basically a tinderbox waiting to happen. But if we were to get in here and do some forest management, culling the dead trees, cleaning up a lot of just the undergrowth, to make these more of a sustainable forest that's not just going to get overgrown and basically become a fire trap. This is us basically curating or tending to our garden for group one, to maybe even doing some garden tending to our own thought process or beliefs, limiting beliefs specifically. You're culling them, you're pulling them out. You don't need to, maybe they were acting as spiritual training wheels or just life training wheels for you, and you don't need that anymore. You're ready to clear out, because you will be shown a new way. That's what we've been talking about this whole time. A new way forward, a new way of doing things. I love when these cards basically just keep repeating themselves as the same thing we've been saying the whole reading so far. And we have here, you will be taken care of in difficult times. So even at times through these shifts, through these changes, you're feeling unsupported, or how am I going to financially support myself if I have to, leave this partnership, or leave this business, or leave this job, or I get laid off, or I can't find a job, or, whatever the case may be. Anything that's uncertain in your life, be them opportunities or relationships or financial status, you will be taken care of by others in your life, potentially support systems, friends, family, your own spirit. Spirit really has your back through these shifts and changes. And then we have get back to basics. And I love this because we think, basic is something like that's a negative or derogatory term. Oh, you're so basic. It's like, no, yeah. When we get back to the basics of our spirit and slough off or peel off all of this just ego gunk that has built up around us, that is a version of us getting back to basics. And there's nothing basic about getting back to your spirit. But this is really what this is giving. And the fact that this is a quill is used for communication. And a lot of times feathers can be seen as a sign of communication from spirit. So some of you, change is coming your way. You're ready to get back to basics. You're clearing those limiting beliefs, clearing out maybe literal decluttering. Obviously, Wrigley is probably a participant in pile 1 here, because the old ways of him just, I'll get to it later, aren't working anymore for him in his bedroom. I feel like I always call him out because we're literally in his room and you can see like in real time how his mind works and how, the disorganization of it all. So, but just prime example of maybe old ways aren't going to open new doors, basically. Old ways will not open new doors. So you're gonna try a new way forward. I love this for you, group 2. Sorry, 1. Because you're done. You're done trying to fit your square peg self into the round hole of society, or whatever shape you want to identify with. You're done. You will be shown a new way. All of that, how do I even what it is like, this muddled, this really thick forest here. This is you trying to fit yourself into a society that's literally in free fall. It's collapsing. This society is already over, but we have to go through the transition from one way of being and in society to another. It's coming. We feel it. That's what a lot of us are feeling, but it can be scary. But I think that's why you had to be reminded, group 1, that you will be taken care of in these transitory, difficult, potentially chaotic times. You will. All right. So that was pile 1. Hope you enjoyed it. It does feel very much like, some of these shifts and changes you guys are going to be experiencing are going to feel like a whiplash or a rug ripped out from under you, because with that Knight of Swords, it's quick moving. There's no messing around. We're getting right down to it is really what that energy is showing. Okay, so pile 2. For pile 2, we have, reminder, immense growth and self-love, self-value, self-worth, self-respect. Very much I'm getting that getting back to basics card with the quill that we had for pile 1 is kind of what's bridging. So someone here or on the replay has chosen both piles, because I am getting similar but yet different vibes. So if you chose both piles, basically just consider this an extended pile of your pile 1. But if you're just solely pile 2, just disregard any, pile 1. Don't worry about that. So he's standing there on a pile of coins, a little piggy there. He's so cute. He's reminding me a little bit of Wilbur from Charlotte's Web. He was the prize piggy. And then because he stood out, he was such an exceptional pig, that both called attention to him, but also made him othered or special in such a way that it literally saved his life. Think of it this way. So this was him just, obviously he had a little bit of help from Charlotte the spider, but just standing on authority of who you are. Stand on business of who you are and what you came here to do, because you're done with those little boxes on the hillside, whatever that song is on, little boxes on the hill. I think that's how it goes. On the hillside, made of ticky-tack, something, I don't know. I think it's the theme song of the show Weeds. I don't know if you guys remember that one. I only saw the first couple seasons. I didn't ever finish the series. I probably should. It was pretty good. But yeah, you're done fitting yourself in these little boxes that were already predetermined for you before you even incarnated, generations and generations and potentially millennia ago. You were already told you can only shine this bright. You can only be this big, energetically speaking. You can only do so much. That is completely changing, especially with this new paradigm with the Cross of the Sleeping Phoenix awakening. We have no choice but to shift into a new paradigm. No choice at all. But the choice that we do have is, how is that going to look for me? Because it's going to look different for every one of us, because we are going into these gates with these incarnation crosses with the Sleeping Phoenix. These gates are very much about moving from tribal, doing everything for the greater good, sacrificing your talents, your skills, your time, your money, your love, your attention, your effort for the greater good. And instead, we're individualizing. So going from tribal to individual to uniqueness. Then it doesn't mean it's going from taking care of people to I'm now selfish as hell and I don't care about anybody. That's not what this is. But this is about being able to take care of people from that overflow rather than from being depleted. That's what this looks like. So this does not mean that we're not going to take care of our own or even people who are strangers. That does not mean that at all. A lot of people have gone from, they say this great awakening is going from service to self to service to others. Actually, weirdly enough, the people who are in service to self this whole time have been those quote unquote elites. I don't like calling them that, but what I'm talking about, who I'm talking about. These principalities that are holding the puppet strings for all the things and systems that we have authority over us, which that in and of itself is the great illusion. There is nothing with authority over us in the spiritual realm, in the physical realm, in any of it. But we participate by spending our time, paying attention. We, just even coming in, we're already programmed and brainwashed. This is what we're going to be and do. But you guys are saying, no, no, it's time. It's time to grow. It's time to show the world who I am. And it's not from this place of ego. It's because if I don't become authentically me and unique to who I am on a spiritual level, I will pass away, energetically speaking, not literally. It's just almost like a recycled back to source kind of analogy. If you don't get with the program so far as becoming who you truly are meant to be and shine as your individual self here, you're not going to make it very far in this new energy. So for those of you who've wanted to express yourself uniquely and be yourself and be authentic to your spirit, boy, this is going to be your time to shine. Even if you don't know how you're going to do that yet or what that's going to specifically look like, you don't have to have it all figured out yet. You don't. All right, let's get a couple tea leaves for a pile too. The change is coming your way. You're done. You're done. You're done. Shoving yourself into this box. And a 2 fell into my lap. So they have a slightly different meaning than these 2. Okay. So let's start with the 2 that fell into my lap. 1 fell face up, 1 fell face down. Ooh, interesting. I'm really reading this as duality in and of itself. So we have the Apple card, temptation will test you. So you say, I want to change my life in 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. I want to go on a weight loss journey. I want to learn Pilates. I want to learn, I don't know, how to make soap, whatever it is you want to learn. Temptation to just fall back into the comfort zone of that old version of you. That's where the temptation is. There may even be people outside of you that are like, oh, I know you're on this like new health kick, but oh my gosh, you have to try this cinnamon roll. Oh my gosh, or whatever the case may be. So there will be those temptations out there. But just remember, they wanted us to think that Eve having that quote unquote temptation to eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil was a bad thing. But no, actually, Eve was punished for doing the right thing, wanting to know more, wanting to expand beyond what she was told she had to be. So temptation doesn't always have to be a bad thing. Temptation to move out of your comfort zone is a very good thing, especially in this new paradigm energy. So this can be a very dualistic card in and of itself. And then we have on the back of the other part of the duality of it, a two-faced friend. I'm not even reading this as anyone outside of you. This is you and the mask you wear. This is your spirit. This is your ego. Two sides of the coin, although the ego is a false self. It's not even real in quote unquote real reality, but as we live these human lives here, it feels very real to us. And in fact, a lot of times the ego is who we think we actually are. But that is shifting, that is changing. That two-faced nature that everyone has, even your most enlightened of enlightened, there's still more work to do, or not work, I won't even put it that way, but there's still more to peel off that's not us, that's not self, that's not true spirit self. That even the most enlightened of enlightened people, alive or dead, that have ever walked this earth, they could still, they were still a quote unquote funneled down or dumbed down version of who they truly are on that spirit level, because that's just the nature of this realm. We can't shine our full light until we can, and we're kind of coming more into a paradigm where we're going to be allowed to shine that light. Not allowed, because we've always been allowed. Your permission slip is your spirit and you incarnating here at this time, or in the past, in the future, whenever. That is your permission slip to shine. But it's going to become easier. Let's put it that way. It's going to become easier in this new paradigm, because that's the underlying energy everyone is flowing with, is be myself or feel like I'm passing away, energetically speaking. Okay, the other 2 cards we have are club. Someone will try to make you do something against your will. Again, matrix tricksters. This can be your own ego, your own it's not even you. It's a false, shadow version of any kind of truth. And a lot of it is, fueled with trauma or just past trauma, past beliefs about yourself that you create this false mask of yourself. It's not even real at all. But, many of us believe it. Oh, I love the duality of this, I'll get to it. You'll see in here in a second. But yes, the matrix trying to, make you do something against your will, either stay in something that you shouldn't stay in or move on from something that maybe you need to spend a little more time with before you just cut it out of your life. Again, it's gonna be different for each of you, so take it as it resonates for you. But when I see a club, I think of, like, this is you defending yourself. And then, funny enough, we were talking about duality earlier. Now we have dogs. We had cats earlier. Now we have dogs. Getting together with friends. And then we have a two-faced friend. So as we kind of, group two, remove this almost two-faced nature, ego, spirit, we move into really feeling the vibe of our spirit or our true spiritual nature and the true spiritual nature of others. Finding our tribe. Yes, we're moving out of the tribal, everything for the greater good kind of energy of planning or cross of planning that we've been in. And then there's the other one that we've been in that's very much about the tribal unit and allowing systems to dictate how the tribal unit lives. We're moving out of that. But as we move out of that, we will start to find people who are aligning with their own authenticity. But again, it's like there are no mistakes. There are no real true mistakes. When you come from a place of love and spirit, there are no mistakes. Anything that appears to be a mistake doesn't even exist. I know that sounds like, okay, spiritual bypass much. But as we move into these new paradigms, the things that just don't align with us, they don't have to be in our reality anymore. We don't have to entertain them anymore with our spending our time paying attention, putting our focus and our life force into these systems, these people, these politicians, these things. Again, this is not all happening overnight. This is very, very much a long-term projected outlook or future, specifically for you, pile 2. Pile 1 as well. I see, yes, there are very specific changes you're making right now to your routines and stuff, pile 1, but pile 2, yes, but also I see you guys have this almost expanded awareness of, well, my future isn't just tomorrow or next week or next year. My future might even include 40, 50 years from now, and you're really starting to think big picture in terms of, wow, if I still have maybe 30 to 40 to 50 years left on this planet, like, what do I want to do with my time? What do I want to do with my life? Do I want to keep doing what I've been doing? Do I want to do something different? For most of us, yes, we want to do something different. If it's to keep the same people and the same like happiness levels, but maybe we want to shift the way we do our business or shift the way that we relate to our family or take our power back from these corrupt systems. Yeah. So getting together with friends or like-minded people. And because this is what changes are coming your way, maybe some of you are finding some true friends. And not just online, not like, oh, online friends aren't as cool or good as real life friends. They absolutely are. But there's just something that hits different about actually being able to get together in the physical with people that you vibe with, that just takes things to a whole other level. All right. So I hope that helps just kind of act as almost a little roadmap that things are going to improve. You are ready to make some big shifts, immense growth. Oh no, where did my card? Oh, there it is. Immense growth, specifically where yourself is concerned, because as we know, our external is a reflection of our internal. So as we work on all these self things, self-respect, self-value, self-love, self-worth, we start to amplify or resonate with something that is just much more beautiful and life-giving, life-affirming out in the world. Whether, as opposed to in this cross of planning we've been in this old paradigm where we should put others above ourselves, give our money away, not that there's things wrong with this, like, because think of the mothers. I mean, obviously, a lot of times we do have to put our kids first, but this is not going into this self-sacrifice for the greater good, to keep the matrix running energy anymore. Because we're learning and we're realizing, and maybe some of us have known this a while, but it still just kind of takes a minute to get through our thick skulls, that when we are giving from our overflow, we're giving from a place of unconditional love, because it doesn't deplete us or make us self-sacrificial to give to someone or something else. But when most of us have been conditioned, programmed, and thought that this is just how life is, I got to sacrifice myself, I got to sacrifice my time, I got to, give myself, give of myself way more than I want. And then I have to spend 2 weeks recovering because I'm so depleted. But at least I got that raise. At least I pleased my partner. At least fill in the blank here, whatever we've been self sacrificing for. We're finding ways. Yes, maybe we stumble and fall, but we get back up. We're finding ways forward because we can't stay in those little boxes on the hillside. Even if you're still living in a little box on the hillside, like I am, you can expand first from the self, from the spirit, and then you will see the change reflected in the external. Anyway, all right, so group 2, I hope that resonated for you. Powerful energy for both piles. But pile 2, it's like you guys have a vision for mass expansion for your future because you're done playing small. You're done, it's very rebel energy, but not in that F authority kind of way. It's very much in a, well, I don't need to fight the whole world out there that's not doing things the way I want to do them. I'm just going to start living my life doing things the way I want to do them. And as a result, your external, maybe not in the greater of the humanity in the world all at once, but you'll just notice it in your family systems, your community, your light will start to reflect back to you from the external in your literal reality as you make these shifts on the inside. It has no choice but to. And in fact, that's the only way true, real change can happen is it starts from the inside and then starts to be reflected in our outside. All right. Here's an apple card that I dropped. Hills. Oh, funny. We were just talking about little boxes on the hillside. Obstacles overcome. Yes, we do. We have many of these to overcome, but we're doing something risky. We're taking a chance. Because we're not staying small, playing small, pretending we're not these spiritual beings anymore. We're going to start living as spiritual beings, having a human experience. Some of us openly and honestly for the first time, moving into these new energies, whereas maybe in the dark or kind of in the shadows or behind the scenes, we would live authentically to our spirit. But, we still had to, go along to get along, get with the grind, get with the program. So many of us, our spirits are saying no more. And the energy that's pouring in with these solar storms right now is a great benefit to us, even if it makes us have those symptoms that we don't always like to feel. But a lot of times those symptoms are, really just bumping up against the density that's in our body for us to be able to offload it. Just think of, I'm just seeing, like, coming from the sun, a lot of times the sun does represent something hot or heated, right? And think of, all those layers of not self that we pile upon ourselves through trauma, through what other people told us we had to be, through the systems in place. And as, the heat of that sun starts to turn up with all these, solar storms, more metaphorically than literally, let's just say, we start to feel the heat, energetically speaking, we're starting to feel the heat. We're feeling the heat of that boiled frog effect as well. So almost in tandem, we're feeling the heat of the boiled frog effect and the heat of the solar storms that are saying, okay, now's the time. We're elevating. We can't keep carrying around all this stuff. So as we start to sweat and get really hot, we start to peel and peel and peel and peel away the density that's no longer serving us. So good job, pile 2. I think we went a little longer on pile 2, but I don't know. I think you guys needed just that little yeah, we got this. I love it. Versus also living near a hillside. I love it. Love it, love it. Yeah, I was talking about self-sacrifice a lot with Kay, and that's not how to operate. First, I have to feel full and overflowing, and then only then can I take care of her or anything else. And, as moms, as, someone who's hired to work at a company or a corporation, we sometimes, even though we're not feeling it, we still push ourselves to do it because got to bring home that paycheck, got to get dinner on the table. There are still ways that we, even in the new energy may, have to push through a little bit. I mean, it's not like everything's gonna be rainbows and roses overnight and, dinner will just cook itself and figure and plan itself out every night. Like, no, probably not. But we're going to find more empowered ways maybe to approach much like we were talking about in pile one, new ways forward. We're going to keep trying, but in a new way. And it's just going to be different. Maybe we're still cooking dinner and planning dinner every night, but maybe we've cracked the code, we've cracked the case for it not to be this huge chore or, insert here besides just planning dinner and executing dinner every night. Whatever just feels like the frustration or like annoyance. Here we go again in your life. Brianna's here. Hello, welcome. All right, we are done with our pick a card. So if you missed that, Brianna, I never did timestamp for pile 2. Oh my god. Well, I have some homework for myself. I did timestamp pile 1. I did not timestamp pile selection or pile 2. So I will have to go back and do that after our live stream. So we do have, let's see, 2 donations. So one from Jessa, full read, and then one from Kirsten. So we're going to get right into Jessa's question. I think we're going to go to the Cozy Witch. Let's do it. Cozy Witch Tarot. Oh, and I am going to try to stick to my timer today. I say this every time, and I start out the live stream strong thinking I could do it this time, and then I fall off. But at least when I set the timer, I feel more accountable than if I don't set the timer. So we're going to set the timer. Oh, okay. So, anywho, question at hand for Jessa, question of the hour, going to my email, we have, all right, full read, what does Spirit want me to know, job, home, or other, can you please timestamp today? Ooh, thank you for letting me know that. 51:30. Jessa, okay, now I'll start the timer. Start, okay. Home, work, life. What does Jessa need to know? Ooh, itchy. Good luck. Good luck coming in. We could always use some good luck. What does Spirit want Jessa to know? Job, home, money, other. What does she need to know in alignment with her true spirit today? Ooh, we have the world. I love this. Yay, you did it. Now do something to celebrate a job well done. You're closing a cycle. Potentially not ready to start a new cycle, but like that energy is very potent and like available. I just heard bioavailable because there's availability and then the bioavailable. I think that's when your body is actually able to utilize, like if you're taking all these supplements, but your body's not like in a state where it can accept those nutrients, vitamins, amino acids, they're not bioavailable. I think that's what that means, but something about the energy not potentially being yet bioavailable. Let me just look that up. Bioavailable. Bioavailability is the extent and rate at which an active substance like a drug or nutrient is absorbed and becomes fully available to, yeah, okay. So that's what it is. I was right. I'm like, am I using this right? I hope so. Okay. Yeah. So it's like the opportunity is there. And maybe, just pretend that this opportunity is a supplement. You've been taking the supplement for months to a year now, taking the supplement, but there's a shift to the energy or something. Maybe you did a cleanse, let's just say like a body cleanse. And now your body is able to absorb the nutrients because you've cleaned out all the debris and detritus and junk that was just kind of hanging around, clogging up the pathways of bioavailability, if that makes sense. Yeah, so there may be just some detox, purging, decluttering, energetically speaking, that's still hanging around, that needs to, again, be taken out or removed, just alchemized, potentially even, to be able to allow for that free flow of goodness to start coming. What does Jessa need to know specifically about this job stuff and finances? Let's kind of tie those two together. We have 3 of Swords and the Chariot. Okay, so yes, it's okay to cry. 3 of Swords is about grief, loss, just feeling helpless, hopeless, despair, all of that. But it's coming out with the Chariot. So it's like you're moving from this energy into finally being able to move forward. Yeah, the stagnancy or and it's not that you haven't been doing anything. It's just more of an energetic stagnancy that it's like no matter the cleansing, the clearing, and it's like what is happening? Like, what is going on? Like, this should have been moved, like much movement by now, much movement by now. But that is shifting. It really is. It's like, well, when? Soon. Well, when is soon? Tell me when soon is, because I'd like to know when this magical time frame happens, because yeah. Specifically about the home. Let's get some energy on the home front, home situation for Jessa. We have revelations await. Embrace the mystery. Embark on a journey of discovery and watch as secrets unveil before you. So it's kind of a cheeky card, you know, like Chris's timing deck, as we know, likes to get a little cheeky, but revelations do await. And it's kind of like, it's like there's the underwater, but here's like, you're still walking through the caverns. It's very much as above, so below is what I'm getting here, energetically speaking. But there, you know, this journey of discovery, again, this does almost just look like putting yourself in that daydream Delulu energy of, let me just see what's available, which I know you do that from time to time. Like, let me just see what apartments are for rent and what the price points are and the locations, and almost that example I use of going out and test driving the car. Because for 2 years, my husband and I were like, yeah, we're probably going to get a newer to us Explorer, but we didn't know, you know, what that exactly looked like. But for 2 years, we're just kind of hemming and hawing, spinning our wheels, not really making any moves on it. And then we were in Libby for my friend's wedding. And I was like, I saw the color and, you know, it was the body style, because they changed from the 2015-16 body style to the 2017-2018 body style. And I'm like, or no, I think it was, I think 2016s and 17s had the same body style. 2015 and below had a different one. But it had the 2016-2017 body style that I liked the best. And this was in 2018. I didn't really like the 2018 body style anyway, and I didn't want a brand new car anyway. So I'm like, let's just test drive it. Even if we're literally on vacation for my friend's wedding, had no plans to buy a car, but let's just go test drive it. And something just in that energy of getting out there, you know, maybe this specifically, Jessa, for you looks like going to some open houses and just walking through some new units or houses or whatever that looks like, wherever it is you're looking to move. We'll start to get that energy flowing in that direction. Much like you accepting and doing interviews for work stuff has at least gotten some energy flowing, but it's like, let's get it flowing and keep it going. Like, what's the holdup here, Spirit? But specifically with the home stuff, it's almost like, of course, like that funnel, backed up funnel of, once the finances figure themselves out and the career stuff figures itself out, then the home stuff, it's just all just gonna really start flowing at that point. But it's like just getting to that point where whatever it is that's the holdup, the sticking point, yanking it out. Let's just ask, because we need to, we always do. What's the holdup? What's the sticking point? What's the blockage? What's the holdup? What does Jessa need to know about clearing this obstacle that's been keeping her from being able, stray hair, to get what she needs? Okay, we have Page of Swords. This is about news or communication. There's something being held up with communication, or the flow of communication isn't happening. And this doesn't mean you're not doing anything right, but it's almost like, okay, you know, you're in contact with these different people that you've interviewed with, and then 9 times out of 10, pretty much, they ghost you or drop the ball or have to reschedule. Something happens every single time. And then you finally get to go through with that interview, or maybe they say, oh, we chose a different direction or whatever. But, you know, say in the instance that you finally get to go through with that interview, you're like, I nailed that. There's no way I'm not chosen. And then it just falls flat. It's like, what the actual F is happening? So let's get some further information what the actual F is happening. Okay, 1 fell to the floor. Sticky energy with the Strength card. Ooh. Very interesting, because this is like Leo energy with the Strength. I'm also getting Magician vibes when, you know, we have that 8 on the scene. That's very much like that. This infinity symbol, that's what it's called. But I'm also getting like something about generational energy. Oh yeah, she's also wearing the necklace of it. There you go. Generational energy from your own inner child or very young maiden energy of your divine feminine trifecta And then, of course, the mother energy, but then the crone energy of the witch, the crone, the grandmother, whatever that looks like. And you embodying the maiden, the mother, and the crone trifecta to be able to move this forward. Because there is a job, potentially something remote or work from home, because this is my internet card. This really is about you being able to get something coming through your communication and persistence. This sometimes is a card of courage, like just having the balls or the courage to reach out to someone or apply for those jobs that you're like, well, I've never, but I could. To be able to have this breakthrough where the communication continues to flow like a ping pong match with people who actually know what they're doing, rather than what I'm seeing in my mind's eye is on The Office when I think it was Pam and was it Kelly? I think it was Kelly. They both sucked at ping pong, so it's like, okay, one, and then the other one wouldn't be able to return it, so they'd have to start over. Okay, one, and it would just like start stop start stop start stop. Whereas when Daryl, who was dating Kelly at the time, and Jim, who was dating Pam, married to Pam, they're just like back, forth, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Like, that's what you're looking for. And funny enough, Jim and Daryl in this instance were just having fun, just joshing around at work. There was no real stakes to it. But Kelly and Pam were in like so much like competition mode. Like, I'm going to one up you. I'm going to prove a point to you, that it's like start, stop, start, stop, start, stop. So this could be, I'm not even saying your ego, Jessa, but like, again, potentially from past generations' ego, or, oh, girls can't do that. Women can't do that. Who do you think you are? Like maybe even some of those like limiting, almost subliminal programming that you have from past generations that's somehow operating behind the scenes to sabotage you. Interesting. And I'm specifically like tuned into the grandmother energy of this, of something with your grandma Leanne. So we've tuned into something with your mom time and time again with potential jealousy or animosity or regret, maybe feeling like, oh, if Jessa would just do this, then we could have a good relationship. No, the onus is not on you. It's on her for messing up in the first place when she was the adult, you were the child. And I'm getting a similar thing with potentially something with use of authority with your grandma when you lived with her your senior year. There could be something like that's what's really standing out, like a hidden aspect that you can just kind of pluck out, like a gray hair or like a chin hair or something that's kind of, you see it and it's just right there. Like, just let me just take care of this real quick. Pluck, take it out, energetically speaking. Okay, so we went over time, as I knew we would. But I hope that helps. Yeah, it's like I wish I could just say the exact thing it was, but like spirit's like, you're right there, Jessa, you're right there. Get it, grab it. Get it, got it, good is what I'm hearing. Get it, got it, good. Get it, grab it, good. Get it out for good. Because the problem is not you, it's not your talent, it's not your skills, none of that. That's not the problem. The problem is the way that gets packaged up and presented to someone for them to be able to accept that and realize this is exactly what we're looking for. And then to be able to take the ball and run with it. It's like somehow, some way, energetically, something is being interfered with. And I don't even see that this interference is conscious. It's very much more like a program or an algorithm running in the background that just kind of almost like you getting just auto AI rejected because you don't know the exact code to get through the AI to get to an actual person to see, but more energetically speaking rather than literal, if that makes sense. Yeah, very interesting. But it's weird because every time we do these readings, Jessa, I feel like you're one step closer. And I know that's probably no consolation because you're like, I need to be 20 steps over the line, not just one step closer to it at this point, but like everything. And when that funnel gets unblocked, it's like a fire hose of prosperity and opportunity and financial income and being able to move and take those next steps in your relationship are finally all gonna like, again, it's like a video that like so I don't know if you've experienced this, like sometimes on YouTube, like a video will like start and then stop and then start and then stop and they'll be kind of frozen. and then you'll push play, and it'll almost like be in fast forward to like catch up to where it should be, but the words are like real time normal. Have you ever experienced that glitch? Because yeah, that's what this is giving. It's like it'll all catch up, and it'll just be like the snap of a rubber band. It'll all catch up, and you'll be like, "What was I worried about? Here's everything I could have ever really wanted." Like as far as like fulfilling your physical needs and desires, like it's coming. It is. It really is. Yeah, I was reading a post by Raylene about program running in the maternal line of being. This is something I've tuned into my own maternal line. Because it sneaks in when I go on a journey with it. It's piggybacking on the mitochondrial DNA, and that's the mother. You can only get mitochondrial DNA from your mother's line, from your mother specifically, passed from her mother, all the way back to mother, the original mother. But this is a matrix trick, a little nuance, little twist, little itch in our side that was put on the mitochondrial DNA. And I have done at least 3 journeys that are popping up in my awareness on my own just personal line to nix this, to get it out of there, to dissipate, to dissolve it, whatever I need to do, alchemize it, transmute it. And I feel like, okay, I did it. But then when I go back, or I feel like, okay, it's still somehow affecting me, it's like it's back. But it's not like, oh, I didn't get it the first time. I did. But it just goes so deep that it's like you're getting layers of it, layers. It's like an onion. You keep peeling and peeling away. That's why I like to call it peeling rather than healing, because there's our core essence. There's nothing to heal. We are innate perfection at our core. All these traumas, all these false masks we wear, that's not even us anyway. So there's nothing to quote unquote heal. If we just let it go and stop carrying it around, that's easier said than done. Then we can get closer and get back to our true essence. And that was kind of what was coming back up with Get Back to Basics in, what was that, pile 1 or 2? I already forgot the Getting Back to Basics card. Yeah. All right. Up next, we have Kirsten. Take a quick drink. And just for S&Gs, issues and giggles, I will also timestamp 107. 07 for Kirsten, aka Sailor Moon something. I think there were numbers behind it. Sailor Moon. All right. Best foot forward, getting crickets back. Yeah. Oh, isn't that hard? Yeah, I've done 2 for sure. The download I got was, it was placed the time when the actual manipulation happened. So maybe we have to go all the way back. Yeah, and that's exactly the intel that I get on it as well. Is it's like, all this peeling away is like taking away this symptom, that symptom, that symptom. But eventually we take away so many symptoms, we're going to get to the root cause of it. Or we can set that intention to get to the root cause of it and just pluck it out, because it doesn't belong there. It doesn't belong there. If it belonged there, that might be difficult to just pluck it out, just pull your heart out of your chest. You don't need it anyway. Oh wait, yeah, you do. It's unnecessary and actually detrimental, but it's there. We just need to find a way to remove it at the root. I maybe need to spend some time doing that for myself, and not just for myself, but like that for all of humanity, work on that wound for all of humanity, because it's not just in my family's DNA, it's in everybody's, so let's get to the DNA root of humanity and pull it out of there, All right. So Kirsten, let's go read her question. Kirsten. All right. I'm at risk of losing my job due to health issues, and I'm being bullied by coworkers. Oh no. What should I do? What can I do as a business to support myself? Okay. So I already hear there's going to be some sort of recourse potentially through like an HR or something. Yeah, like an implant. Absolutely. All right, let's set our timer, even though I'm going to try. I'm going to try to stay to the timer. Keyword try. Okay, here we go. Let's tune into what Kirsten can do to be able to, if that's what you want to do, keep this job. let me just go back and read the question. Let's ask the question you wanted. So, at risk of losing your job due to health issues and being bullied by coworkers, what should I do? Yeah, let's see specifically what Kirsten should do in alignment with her true spirit to be able to alleviate this. Ooh, Queen of Cups, Page of Swords, and Ten of Pentacles. Okay, so this is really about telling your story or about sharing what's going on with, this is about, we're asking about a business or a workplace, the structure of that workplace. This is like the family generations card, legacy card. This is basically the corporate structure or, whatever structure of the business that you're working at, and letting them know what's going on by sharing your feelings, sharing your heart, how this is affecting you. And, your health issues alone, think of, and I'm not saying this is your job specifically, but just think of if you get like, I used to work at a lumber mill. So if I had, say, some sort of autoimmune flare up and I was working at a lumber mill and couldn't like pull strip and feed strip into the dryer or whatever, I wouldn't be able to do the job that I signed a contract to say I could do. So there is that element of it that if you, because of illness, sometimes they will allow you to take some sort of extended leave because of illness, and then we'll hold your spot, have you be able to come back. But also sometimes if you contractually can't hold up your end of the bargain to do your job because your health is a concern, I think there is a legal way they can let you go. But just talking to HR, a boss, someone that you feel can meet your needs in this regard, letting them know what your issues and problems are and asking their help for some kind of solution here is kind of your best path forward. If you want to be able to try to stay at this workplace, that's kind of your course of action or plan of attack, to be able to, let them know where you're coming from and, being open about communication. Oh yeah. So if they won't let you take sick time anymore, they're probably energetically, and this is kind of what I was getting, is it's almost like they're trying to, again, cattle shoot you to funnel you out to make you quit on your own, kind of, rather than be fired. HR is your boss. Yeah, that's kind of the energy I was getting, is like, it's either your boss or HR, but it felt like very much like the same energy. So that makes a lot of sense. But with this, it's like, it's almost like they're forcing you out is the energy behind it. And not because they don't like you as a person or whatever, but again, maybe potentially because you've had sick days and then they had to pick up the slack. A lot of times they'll just kind of build up resentment, even though that's not your fault. You didn't do that on purpose. So plan of attack would be to just one more time, I guess, potentially let them know what's going on and just see if there's anything they can do to accommodate. But if you are just looking to, basically, I think they call it quiet quitting, that it's almost like you keep coming to work, but like you're not really doing much, to the point where they basically force you out, which it kind of almost sounds like they're trying to do anyway for some reason. But that would be a way that you could at least still be able to do like your unemployment thing or something until you figured out your next endeavor. But as far as the second half of your question, what could you do as a business instead? Let's tune in there for Kirsten. What could she do as a business instead? Ooh, look at this. Being your own boss, but in a way where you're helping people. You're like fighting the man, or bringing justice to someone. It could even be, correct me if I'm wrong, I think you were, or at one point were working in like social work setting. This very much is giving like helper, counselor, social worker, someone who's looking to right wrongs on someone else's behalf. That could even look like legal stuff, obviously, like paralegal, or just looking to, rather than legally, more energetically help people find balance and fairness in their lives. If I take any more time, they will fire me. Yeah. If you are, I say willing, willing to be fired, at least that would potentially guarantee that you could have income through, correct me if I'm wrong, I think that's how that works. through unemployment. You can't get unemployment if you quit a job, but you can if you were let go or fired or laid off from a job. I think. I might be wrong about that, but energetically, it feels like if somehow they fire you, you will still be able to at least be compensated decently enough, maybe not the full extent of your paycheck but at least some of it, to be able to allow you time to find another job. All right, so let's see specifically for Kirsten what she could do instead of this job as a business. Yeah, it's like you're finding new ways forward to help people overcome their problems, them being lied to, cheated on, stolen from. Again, your sense of justice. And correct me if I'm wrong, Kirsten. I remember you saying, if I remember correctly, that you're on the autism spectrum, like me. Just people, a lot of people, not everyone, but a lot of people with autism have this like deep sense of injustice. If something is unfair, like we take it almost personally, even if we don't have anything to do with it. Think of a lot of movies where, we're always rooting for the underdog. Like that's just kind of how we're built. So you have this just innate gift or wisdom to make things more fair and balanced. And right as I say that, I have huge chills on my crown. So this like injustice, it's like you're an injustice warrior, like meaning you want to right the wrongs out there or help people right wrongs for themselves where they've been wronged against people, corporations, themselves even, and that could be what a counselor does, is help people right wrongs that people do against themselves. Negative thought patterns are something you're doing against yourself. But there is this position of authority here. So whatever kind of business you would do, this lets me know you would be great at being your own boss, being able to help others or be that leader for other people. Because, you may look like this on the outside, but your roots, your emotions, your capacity to care for others runs very, very deep, which can be a blessing and a curse almost. If you're working in, say, social work or counseling, and I think we've tuned it into this before, it's feeling like very familiar energy to me with you, of you may take your work home with you, so to speak, emotionally, helping people who are down on their luck, may impact you to where you are almost taking on their burdens, like very empathically. So empaths can make amazing counselors, but they can also, again, embody that to where they're now getting sick because of it. And if you're chronically ill and don't have that diagnosis, it could be because you're taking on other people's pain. Yeah. But I feel you're very close to a breakthrough here, Kirsten. Whatever does happen, whether it's you doing a personal business or you working somewhere else, this could even look like disability. So maybe you are seeking some sort of diagnosis with your health, your mental health, something to where you're going to be able to be compensated because you're already, people on the spectrum, for the system that's in place, we are already working at a deficit to your average neurotypical person. So I don't know specifically if people who have autism that can work, but a lot of times they say that like 80+% of people on the autism spectrum don't have a steady job because it's hard for us to maintain the level of grind because we're more cyclical beings, or we're meant to really listen to what our body needs, and our overstimulation, understimulation, like that's so being our own business owner is perfect for us, because if we're just not feeling it a certain week, we can let our clients know or our business know, hey, or maybe when we're really feeling we're in that hyper focus mode, we can get a lot done and be weeks ahead of the curve. But it really is about maybe potentially seeking out certain diagnoses if that's what you need to be able to establish that you need and deserve an income while you're trying to live in a world and systems that just are not built or made for you. This really is, I know the timer went off, but I want to go grab one of these. This is the, I always forget the name of this one. Oh, Wisdom of the Hidden Realms Oracle. Any advice for Kirsten moving forward with work stuff and potentially being able to get things figured out? Ooh, we have the Phoenix. It's in reverse. Resurrection, surrender to change. But this energetically speaking, when it's in reverse, it's like instead of surrendering to change, you're feeling maybe the resistance to the change. But this lets you know even when it does come out in reverse, that you have the potential to turn the frown upside down and be able to move forward to resurrect your vitality, your health, your ability to provide for yourself, and be able to surrender to the changes. Because funny enough, we were talking at the kind of start of the live stream. We've been doing this for the past few live streams because I'm now back into human design just as for fun, for studying. We're moving in 2027, February 15th, 2027 specifically, we're moving into a new 400-year cycle in human design, and it is the incarnation cross of the sleeping phoenix. But that sleeping phoenix is not going to be sleeping anymore. It's waking up and rising from the ashes. There's a whole new paradigm coming. And it is about each person individually knowing what their gifts, their strengths, their weaknesses, their support needs, whatever that looks like for you uniquely. To be your authentic, true spiritual self is going to look different for you than it will for me, than it will for, that corporate whatever over there, and this person over there, and that person over there. We're all finding our own unique way in ways that we weren't supported in doing these past 400 years and probably beyond, in the cross of planning that we were in, where the box was made for us, and then we were born and incarnated into the system, and then they put us in the box, put us in the box, put us in the box. If you want to hear more about this, I talked a lot about it earlier. But we're moving into this energy where the world is begging, the energy is begging us to really tap in and tune in and tune into our unique spiritual gifts, talents, needs, wants, desires, because that is going to be the roadmap to lead us to where we can best fit in this world. Not just some predetermined box that we have to fit in, square peg into a round hole, but us to, be that rainbow or star-shaped person with a star-shaped hole right in front of us to be able to fill that role in society. So instead of, us fulfilling society will fulfill us, which is the way it's supposed to be. But because we've been in the cross of planning, which is kind of the opposite, let's build all these systems to take care of the people, kind of a one size fits all, one shoe fits all approach. But now we're going more Cinderella style of, no, let's find the shoe that actually fits you. And that's where you belong, because it was made for you. You were made for it. Like, this is where you belong. That's the energy we're moving into. And it will be chaotic. It will be messy. It'll probably be demanding everything that we've ever been through to come back up as trauma response for us to move through this, because it's not going to be easy probably. These big transitional periods and points aren't easy, but they are deeply fulfilling and gratifying when we really tune into who we are and stick to our guns, to what we know is meant for us or what we're meant for, and then to move in that direction. So you'll notice, Kirsten, as we get closer to this energy, and, there's no hard stop. It's not like February 15th, 2027, everybody's now flip a switch. We're all in this energy. We've been feeling this probably the last 15 years. Because again, a 400-year cycle, there's going to be overlap. Maybe even farther back than 15 years. But we've been feeling, because we've been in the last line of this cycle since the 60s. And think of how much radical, just like personal rights we've fought for as people, as humanity, since the 60s. A lot has transpired since the 60s compared to probably the first 340, 60 years before that, as far as human rights go, and just demanding that, hey, because I'm here, I'm worthy, I deserve. Just because I'm here, I don't need to prove myself and get in the box to then prove my worth. No, I'm already worthy. And we're getting back to that. So I don't know how that's going to look specifically for you or anyone, but times are changing. So that's good news, though. That's good news. Times are changing, because the way things are going, this world is definitely not built for any of the neurodivergent folk among us, yourself and myself included. This world isn't built for us. So for us to have existed in this world, we've had to bend ourselves into pretzels and shapes that don't belong to us to be able to fit. Or we've decided, screw all that, I'm going my own way. And it may or may not have worked out up and down all around. but we're figuring it out. And as we move into this new paradigm, it's going to be easier. I mean, maybe there's going to be some really high highs and some really low lows as we move through this energy up, down, all around. But once we get out on the other side of it, there's not going to be those low lows anymore because we will have moved out of that energy. And I would say if I had to just tune in intuitively, it's going to be a 20-year process just for us to get our bearings in this new energy. At least, bare minimum, 20 years. So, I mean, at that point, I'm going to be almost 64 in 20 years from now. So, I hope, fingers crossed, I still have a lot more life to live after that, where I can kind of maybe hopefully enjoy some of that, rather than just touch down and get a little taste of it before I gotta kick the bucket, you know. I hope that helped. Again, there's no one size fits all, but there may be some diagnoses you're getting, some potential for you to get some help. There may be some help out there for you financially or otherwise, programs in place that are already there that can help you through this. So hopefully you can discover what those are. But as far as your own business, helping others and righting those wrongs, or just feeling this sense of justice, or helping others feel this sense of justice, is kind of a key component here. Yeah, I went way past the timer. Of course I did. I hope that helped though, Kirsten. At least a little. Shed some insight into things you can look into or ask, talk about, potentially. It's always hard to like give someone like a future life direction in like 6 to 10 minutes. It really is. Okay. Let's see. I need to go over to my email, make sure we're all caught up on donations. Refresh the mailbox. No, I think we're caught up. So yeah, I will be here Friday, hopefully with some product in my hair, and it's styled the way I like it with my haircut. Yeah, it just looks very dry and frizzy and not how I like it right now, because the product is my hair feels like dry straw right now. It's not. Krusty the Clown. Wait. Krusty the Clown. Go on. Yeah. So I'm going to be probably washing my hair tomorrow, because I've already washed it 3 times this week because of the haircut, and I just needed to wash it Saturday because it'd been long enough. I needed to wash it. Had to wash it Monday morning before my haircut, and then she washed it again. So my hair needs a little recovery time. So that's why you get the frizz today, guys. Sorry about that. All right. Well, I will be back hopefully with less frizzy hair on Friday, 11 a.m. Mountain Time. I think we're going to be doing either free 1-card giveaway or a collective reading, one of the two. Either way, I will see you guys Friday, hopefully, as long as everything goes good on my end. I just saw some orbs or something. It's always when I'm closing out that the orbs are like, hey, we're here. You guys notice that? I noticed that. All right, you guys. Well, I'm going to go. Thanks again so much for all those likes, comments, shares, subscribes, donations, and all the things. And I really, truly do hope to see each and every one of you right back here at Harmony Portal Tarot Live on Friday, 11 a.m. Mountain Time. Be there. We will have some more fun together. Much love, peace, and I'll see you then. All right, bye.